Well, hello everyone, I'm Derek Foster from the University of Lincoln. So I'm the academic lead on this project to do the technical deliverables, and Hayley is going to be the double act in this. I'm going to do the first half of the presentation. Hayley's going to do the first half and I'll do the second half. I'll talk about the technical side of things and Hayley's going to talk about the context of the operational user for this project. So the project aimed to develop a prototype software application. We've all got one of these in our pockets on a mobile device. And it's to support mass evacuation using a combination of mobile, cloud and satellite technologies. So the mobile app itself supports cloud-based push notifications to alert users or end users or communities of an incident, flooding incident, and it uses GPS dynamic routing for smartphone devices. So the evacuation routes that's put onto the phone from the cloud are dynamically updated in real time if there's an incident on a route that can be closed off, but we'll tell you about how that works as we go through the presentation. So it's a potential to be used for any local national risk where evacuation may be necessitated, so not just flooding, but any other incident. For instance, there might be an industrial accident up and down the country, and we can use the framework that we have built for the mobile app in the cloud to facilitate and support that. So this presentation outlines the project's focus on flooding, as this session is the context, is that what it's about, and the case study is for the Lincolnshire coastal area. So I'm going to hand you over to Hayley now, and Hayley's going to give you the operational user background, then I'll come back on and tell you about the app itself. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon everybody. My name's Hayley Harrison. I'm an Emergency Planning and Business Continuity Officer for Lincolnshire County Council, and I've been working closely with Derek and the team on developing this app. So to give a bit of an overview of Lincolnshire and the risk that we've been looking at, in our coastal risk area we have over 100,000 people living there. And we know that if we had to evacuate them all, it would take around about 30 hours. This 30 hours very much depends on traffic management measures being in place, being deployed on the day and being effective in order to keep those people moving. As emergency responders, we need at least 80, if not 85% of those people to self-evacuate, so to pack up their cars and just get on the road and leave themselves. This leaves us to look after the 15 to 20% of those who are most vulnerable and require extra support from those responding in order to get themselves out of the at-risk area. In order to do this, communication is absolutely key, both us to the evacuating public and then back to us. The proposed app prototype that we've been developing could be another tool in the toolbox in order to support that communication with at-risk communities, with that evacuating public, and also to help us gather operational intelligence during a flooding incident. So the sort of shopping list that we put together along with the University of Lincoln was to have, no, sorry, I'm going completely the wrong way there. What we have done is we've developed a load of non-technological tools in order to help us evacuate those people. This includes strategic planning, both with the emergency services and other responders, and also community users. Physical signage, we've actually signed 13 evacuation routes away from the coast of Lincolnshire to help people get out in times of flooding. And we've also run mock evacuation exercises so that we can rehearse what we need to do in times of crisis. These tools have been developed by Lincolnshire County Council, the wider local resilience forum, and communities have also created their own community emergency plans so that they can help us to help them and support themselves during an incident if we can't get to them straight away. But a digital tool could provide enhanced support to aid self-evacuation and also to help us deploy resources in the places they're needed most. To give you an idea of a recent experience we had, in December 2013, some areas of Boston Town Centre were flooded, and the images on the screen there show you to what sort of depth we're looking at. We did do an evacuation for this. There was 203 people, I believe, who received support from the authorities with evacuation, but many more of those self-evacuated in order to get themselves away. Slide there just shows the flood outline that we experienced. But what we also have, as well as towns, communities, villages, we have what is possibly the largest concentration of static caravans in Europe, right behind the sea walls. So you stand on them, you see the sea one side, caravans the other side. Sometimes the sea is higher than those caravans, and unfortunately they can't go upstairs. So we know about the risk. What have we actually done about it? We can't just sit there and think, oh, well, it'll never happen. What we've done is, locally, we've written a mass evacuation and shelter plan. As I said earlier, we've signed 13 of those evacuation routes. We've asked communities and caravan parks to create their own emergency plans so that they can let people know about the risk, they can get them out into the road network, and from there, the traffic management tools we have in place should aid them to get out. We've run mock evacuation exercises, as we said. And also, for the last few years, we've run an awareness raising campaign called We're Prepared for Coastal Flooding in Lincolnshire, Are You?, to help raise that awareness that the risk is still there and we still need communities to be prepared. Now, this morning when I walked in, I needed sunglasses, I needed water, I needed everything else. It's quite timely that it started to rain this afternoon. Because what we have is the dilemma where that red circle is roughly 30 hours out. And it's around about there that we need to make a decision. If we have to evacuate everybody, that's where we need to make it. And in Lincolnshire, it could be exactly like it was this morning. And we're trying to convince people that in 30 odd hours time, 2 days time, the sea could come over the sea could breach defences or come over the defences. So again, getting that message out to people is key, that if we're telling them that, we're not sort of messing around, playing around, we're serious about it. However, the other challenge that we have is required time versus available time. We know that we require 30 hours. However, depending on the information coming in, we may have less time than that. And if we do have less time, this app could be a vital resource in order to get the message out to people and again, receive information back about what's happening out on the ground. So the satellite prototype that's been put together has met the needs identified by the operational user, which is us and the wider local resilience forum as well. And what we asked it to do was to support the movement of people. And it's done that through GPS evacuation route mapping, which Derek will explain more about shortly. We asked it to receive GPS located photos, and that's done through crowdsourcing functionality that's built into the app. We asked it that we need it to be able to communicate with the public, and that's done through push notifications, like you get emails through your mobile phone. Receive details of those people who are self-evacuating. And we've asked for a registration form to be built into that app so that people can let us know where they've gone and that we know that they've gone and we know where they are. And also to support recovery messaging, because it doesn't stop after the waters come in. We still need to get those communities recovering, get them back home and keep them safe. And what we've asked for is a tick box requesting information so that the public, the member of the public who's evacuated to, say, Nottingham, has said, yes, I'd like information about when my area can go back home and it's safe. So I'll just pass you over to Derek, who will go through the technological side of the app.
Thanks, Hayley. So I'm doing my best here to keep time. I know we're keen to all leave at the correct time today and beat that rain. So the actual infrastructure of the prototype that we built, there's 4 points here, there's 4 steps on the side. Number 1 is the Joint Flood Forecast Centre. So they'll issue warnings to the local resilience forum or the public authority, whoever it is they send that messages to. And the operational user, or the LRF in this case, will decide if they're going to send out that information to the communities on the coast or wherever else they might be. So that was a decision dilemma that Hayley was alluding to there. It's, do we send that message out or do we not, or do we actually do that? And the way we would do that is through using push notifications on the cloud, and that would happen really quickly. Instantly, you can send out a notification or an alert to any number of people that use our application. It could be 10 users or 1 million. The messages are sent instantly at the same time, so we can scale out and reach a vast number of users very, very quickly and timely. So once you receive the notification through, you can see it here with the alert symbol. If you touch the notification as you get on an Apple phone or an Android phone, it will then open up our app and display your nearest evacuation route. So the evacuation route you'll see is bespoke for your current GPS location at that moment in time. And Hayley's team have uploaded 13 evacuation routes. But if we scaled this nationally, every local authority could have dozens of their own evacuation routes in our database. And wherever you were in the country, if you got a notification through for the app, you could touch the notification and you would get the evacuation route closest to you with instructions on how to get onto that. So we built the mobile application, not just Android, but we targeted both platforms, iOS and Android. The app contains a user registration form that Hayley set out on the requirements list. So your name, email, and obviously do you want push notifications or not. We've got to add that in, we can't just put that in there without people's permission to do that. And we built in the mapping functionality to display the evacuation routes. So the user fills out the form, subscribes to the push notification service, which will give them information on any incidents that happen and updates on evacuation routes. So basically you install this application in the hope that you'll never have to use it again. So we're designing and building an application so that we don't want to actually use it. This app will only ever be used in an emergency. So you don't have to open that app again, it's installed on your phone, a background service runs in the background and you never have to deal with it again unless something happens or unless Hayley's team sends out a notification to you to have a look at any updates. Okay, so here's the application. So what happens is you've installed the app. At this point in time, you just use your phone as normally, checking emails, Facebook, and all of a sudden you get this push notification through. So the payload could be textual or it could be an image or something else. But at the minute, the notification comes through on the phone and it just says new flood warning. And you would basically touch that notification and it would open up the app. And if necessary, if the notification payload was about showing you a new evacuation route, it would show you where your nearest evacuation route was in red. And the blue line shows you how to get onto that evacuation route. So this is all bespoke based upon your current GPS location. So in order to send out these push notifications, we had to have a mobile app, of course, but we also had to have a secure web portal where the operational user would log in and construct push notifications to send out to all the subscribers. So if you've got 1 million people using your app, then you can log into the web portal for the operational user, and on the box on the left-hand side, you can type in the payload or the text message, hit send, and that'll be sent out to all those millions of devices if you're lucky enough to have that many users. And each one of those phones would receive that message and then the user can react to that. On the right-hand side, we've got the routes part of the web portal where you can upload your evacuation routes. So Hayley's team's got 13. So any public authority could upload any number of their evacuation routes. It only takes a few seconds to do that. And we're using an open source .kml format to do that, which is also compatible with Google Earth. So really, really low barrier, low cost, open source tooling that we've used throughout this project. So here's an evacuation route example. This one stretches nearly from the coast in Lincolnshire to further inland and shows you where you have to go. So basically, if you were here, we use the Haversine formula that works out the radius from where you currently are at the moment in time, and we've set it to 10 miles to show you your nearest evacuation route. So the Android and iPhone app, these are the features it's got: user registration, push notifications, maps, evacuation routes, all stored in the admin database portal. Send photos in the admin area. The operational users allows you to manage the evacuation routes, manage photos, manage push notifications, and cloud-based services. All of it is based on and hosted on the cloud. So engagement with end users, the LCC Emergency Planning and Business Continuity Service have been key contact. I've also received full support from the organisations that sit on the LRF. Other LRFs and emergency planning work groups have also supported the app and are keen to utilise the concept and going forward. So there's been a lot of interest in this app. The Cabinet Office and DEFRA are also keeping a very close watch on this and are hoping to partner with us on a phase 2 bid moving forward with the project. So the potential benefits: social, supports timely evacuation of coastal communities. Of course, it can save lives and also save property and damage to property. Economic, supports optimal resource deployments from the operational user context to move operational respondents to wherever the incident is a lot quicker. So it's optimal use of resources. So responders can direct resources to issues identified through the prototype. So that's through photographs that have got a GPS image on them, and they can see where that incident actually happened. So responders also have the capability to dynamically change these evacuation routes within a few minutes, and then they are instantly available to everyone that uses that mobile app. So if I've got the time, I'm going to quickly show you a video of it. Okay, so on the left-hand side, you've got the Android version of the app, and on the right-hand side, you've got the operational user admin portal. So the first thing you do is log in, you register, you've got your phone in your hand, you've installed the app, and now you're going to register. And all these details are stored securely on our database for the operational user. I was going to do this in real time, a live demo, but I decided it was a bad idea. So the user then registers, and you instantly see that you've been authorised for push notifications, you're now subscribed, and then you can start viewing your nearest route, evacuation route, based upon your current location. So you've installed the app, hopefully nothing's going to happen, there's no flood warnings, but what happens if there is? Then Hayley's team, the operational user, will log into the admin web portal, go to the notifications tab, and then they'll send out a message based upon any incident that they feel that the coastal communities must be aware of. So this is where we store the routes, KML files, we upload them, we can edit them, we can delete them, we can fully manage them there, and we can also view those routes to see what they look like. And there's 13 of them in Lincolnshire at the moment. So all of this is in the web portal. And the photographs are sent from the mobile app and they're GPS located. So any photographs sent to that, you can also view them on the map on exactly where they are. And you can also check box if they've been validated. Has a responder actually officially said this is real? And if it's been resolved, you can check box that as well. So we can filter these photographs if we wanted to show them to the actual users of the app. So we're demonstrating sending a push notification here. So we're sending that through. That will come through instantly. On the left, you can see that. We then click on the notification, and that will take us through to the app with the textual payload that we sent through. And then that user can actually view the map. Okay, so I'm a bit conscious we're nearly at the end of time here, so I might skip it on a little bit. If I can move that. No, it's not going to let me. Okay, so we've also got turn-by-turn navigation as well, so you know where your route is, and if you click on the route, the app will actually take you through and get you onto that evacuation route if you wanted to use turn-by-turn navigation. Okay, so the next feature we're going to show you is the photographs. So the photographs are really important for the respondents to react to any issues that's been reported on the ground from the coastal communities. So if you're an end user and your evacuation route was blocked, then you could actually send a photograph to the operational user and then they can act upon that. So you do that through send photo. You'll see this weird box that's emulating taking the photograph. So we take the photograph and then it gets automatically sent to the operational user's platform, and I'll show you that in a second. So very, very quickly, all of this information is available. And if we refresh the photos page here, we can see that that photograph's there. If we click on the view map, we'll also see that it's got its GPS coordinates attached to that as well, and we can see exactly where that is. Okay, so I'm not going to show you the unregister button. That basically means that all your data is wiped from our systems and you're no longer a subscribed user. Okay. Has it completely disappeared up there? Okay, so there's only a couple of slides to go. Next steps. So the knowledge gained in transferring evacuation route pathway strategy, which Hayley's team carried out, we have managed to figure out how to transfer that over to a digital prototype, the mobile app and operational portal. We're now collaborating with other local authorities and public sector emergency planning teams to share the capability that we have learnt throughout running this project. So we're now thinking about deploying pilot studies with these end-user communities as part of a Phase 2 bid for further acceptance and usability. So try and get some large-scale pilot studies out there in the field. And we've also identified additional requirements for public agent metrics and direct communication through the app. So more in-depth analytics inside the mobile application as the user actually clicking on the notifications, are they looking at the maps, are they doing other things. So one of the things that we learned from this project is that mobile app development is really expensive. This project took a cross-platform approach, so we developed two apps side by side using a tool called Xamarin. There's lots and lots of tools out there, but The learning curve is quite steep, and to develop a separate iOS app and a separate Android app will cost you a lot of money, and it will take a lot of time. Okay. So conclusions. Prototype achieved objectives in developing a functional prototype that met the operational users' needs. We're now partnered, hopefully, with the Cabinet Office, NRI team, to support a national rollout strategy as part of a Phase 2 bid. So ultimately, we want to deploy this nationally and have a database of evacuation routes. So it's interoperable and highly scalable. It's all open source. It lives on the cloud, and it can scale out as necessary for as many users as we need it to. So the project demonstrates strong potential for positive social and economic benefits if deployed to operational readiness. And that's then. Thank you. I think I managed to keep to the 15 minutes there, just barely. Yeah, okay, thank you.
So are there any questions for Derek or Hayley in regards to this project? Andrew at the back.
Hi, it's Andrew Richmond from Environment Agency. Just a quick question really for Phase 2. Are you considering developing how you do the route planning from the point where the person is to the evacuation route, so that you might take a longer route that takes you away from a danger to get to an evacuation route, or you might look at the time it takes to travel rather than the distance, because some routes are quicker than others, getting you from where you are to your nearest evacuation route?
Yeah, so at the moment we show one route, but we're already looking at to show you multiple routes, maybe 2 or 3 based upon here's the nearest one, but there might be issues on one of those routes as identified through the photographs, so we may disable those evacuation routes in real time, and you no longer see those routes. But we're also thinking ahead of Phase 2 for potential traffic modelling, looking at the number of cars we can get on those roads and what happens if there's X amount of people already on that by looking at the analytics in our app. But yeah, at the moment it's a basic prototype, and we're already looking at how can we have a more dynamic approach to rolling out or giving the end user different options for multiple evacuation routes. Yeah.
One from the back first.
Thank you very much, very interesting. When people in the public are submitting their pictures,
Yeah.
I presume there's somebody working at your end who's going to moderate those before they appear on the website.
Yeah, so the website is secure anyway. It's only the operational users that will see them. The actual end users of the app will never see those photographs.
Oh, I see. It's not the people actually on the app who are submitting the photographs. Yeah. It's more just your people on the ground.
Yeah, it's just the operational users. Yeah, well, we're aware that could cause problems. Yeah.
There's a question from Ian as well, John.
Hi, Ian Millard, Innovate UK. Looks a really interesting app. How are you going to support that going forward? I trust you're going to start some sort of startup company or some other way to commercialise this?
Well, from the operational perspective as a public service, it will be zero cost. The only maintenance or cost that we'll be looking at moving forward is maintenance costs for cloud and potential further development.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so we set out to do this project as non-profit. So there's zero cost for the application, and we'll be looking at the costs that will be involved in it are for cloud utility costs and extra development costs to maintain the apps in the years to come.
Right.
Yeah, I'm an academic, so yeah, we're not really in the business of making that much money. Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you very much.